Okay. Oops. Shir Adonai. Shir Adonai. Kol haaretz. Shir Adonai. Shir chadash. Shir Adonai. Kol haaretz. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shir Adonai Kol Haaretz. Adonai, Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shir Adonai. Haaretz, Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash. We will sing unto God a new song. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you all. For those at home, there are 300 people in the room right now. They're missing out, but hey, that's okay. It's one of those off weeks. We don't have a bar bat mitzvah. We had like none for a while, and then there was the whole bunch, and then we have a few more coming up. But it's great to see you all. Let's light some candles. Judith, you want to come up and light? And anyone else who might want to join you? Or not? It's not on camera, so anyone can slip up there if you like, and you won't be recorded for posterity. That's the easiest one we've found. Yeah, I like the matches, but the matches are not consistent. Unless that one's run out of juice. Oh, shoot. I do. Let's see if we can actually light them. You want to do it? You want me to do it?
Yeah, but matches I can manage.
We don't have good boxes, though. And on the first shot. Okay. Here, I'll stay here and you can sing into the mic. I think this may be done. Candles come now like with the wick coated in wax. That makes it harder. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. much. So I want to point out something that I know we always have learners in the room, and I've talked about like the covering the eyes and those kinds of things, but there's something that I learned was an interesting practical thing that you wouldn't necessarily expect. You see a lot of people, when they light the candles, they shake the match out rather than blow it out, to the point that I believe it has become traditional, that you often see it that way, so much so that it's traditional. And a few times over the years, I've observed the practical reason why I'm sure that has developed. Someone goes to blow out the match, and they blow out the candle at the same time, which wouldn't be a big deal if you weren't traditional. If you accidentally blow out the Shabbat candle, it's out, you can't relight it. And in a traditional home, that's like light in that space. So you don't want to accidentally blow out the candles because you can't relight it. You also can't light a Shabbat candle from another Shabbat candle because you can't make the Shabbat candle do work. What I grew up with, though, and I've thought about doing this, but it's not as easy and practical, is we had an additional candle on the bima, a smaller one, that was lit before, like when people came up, and they used that to light it, like the shamas, the helper candle on a Chanukiah. That one, I believe, can do the lighting. I'd have to check on that, whether that's well, it's already lit, and it's not a Shabbat candle, so I think it's probably traditionally acceptable. I'd probably have to look it up. I end up with some fascinating rabbit holes of research on Jewish stuff that's just fascinating, which we'll see more about in a few minutes because that sent me off in a direction for this evening as well. All right, let's bless wine. And I fully admit that my cup isn't full, so I'm counting on people at home to actually have some in there so that this is not a prayer in vain. Oh yeah, we definitely have people at home with it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. You know, another interesting thing I learned at some point along the way, I watched as some people would hold their Kiddush cup like this. You seen that? Do you know why? Turns out, and I think at some point I must have asked, or someone explained why they would do this. Kiddush wine for Shabbat is not, even if it's the same wine in there, if you're doing it for Shabbat, it should be set apart. So you hold it in a way that's different in order to distinguish between this and wine you might drink at any other time during the week. I thought, okay, cool, I get that. I don't drink wine at any time, so I don't worry about holding it the right way because it's the only time I hold a wine glass. All right. Let's turn to L'Chadodi. We're going to do one of the more traditional melodies, but we will do the same thing where we when we get to the final verse, we will rise and face the opening. I will let you know when we get there in order to anticipate the Shabbat spirit, the bride or queen of Shabbat coming to join us. So together. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shahamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lihikrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi ori, uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the entrance. Bohoi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha uv'tzohola, tochem munei am segula. Boi chala. You can turn around. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. All right, I'm going to give Hebrew School a choice. Since I see the shaking, you'll do it? You can come up. Since you're both like signed off done, I wasn't going to make anyone do it, but you have to do it? You should do it. We're not shaming.
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, my friend, yes.
peer pressure. Wow.
It's every time.
You want me to start? Yitkada ve'yitkada shemei rabba, be'alma divrach irte v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, bagala, uv'izman kariv, v'imeru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach, leolam ulam mehamaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalam, shemei dekudesha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru. Amen. We're going to have Ve'ahavta in a few minutes. It's up to you. We're still standing. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lie, 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 lie. Yai, lie, 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 yai, lie, 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 yai, lie, 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 lie. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, lie, 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 yai, lie, 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 yai, lie, 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 lie. You're invited to read along with me. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And we continue. O one and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love. We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may be seated, except for you. Come on over here. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshivtecha bevetecha uvlektecha vaterech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot ayadecha v'hayulu totafot beinenecha uktavtam amazuzot betecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim lelohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiot lachem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. In a world, there's more in a few minutes if you want. It's up to you. Okay. Are the chairs nicer up? Oh, you like the footrest. Yeah, okay, that's what it is. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norah tehilot osef eleh. Norah tehilot osef eleh Adonai. Yimloch leolam va'ed. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Behamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Okay, it's English. I want to hear you all sing now. I just heard a few before. There were some. We can do better. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 We turn now to the tefillah. We're not actually turning pages, but it's stuck in my head. We turn now. All right, step on the pedal and make the page turn to the tefillah. For that we rise. That was good. You got my cue. Ana na 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 na. Ana na 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 svatai tifta. Ana na 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 ufi agit. Ufi agit tehilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Ananananana Sfatai Tiftam. Ananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Ananananana Adonai. Ananananana Sfatai Tiftam. Ananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'koneh hakol, v'zocher hasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevi gula livnei v'neihem, l'ma'an shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mashiva ruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofech oholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato li shenei afar, Michamocha ba'agevurot, umido mehalach, melech memitu mechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We take a few moments for our own silent thoughts, prayers, and reflections. You may continue seated or standing as you prefer. I'm done with y'all. It's up to you. You can hang out here. You can go back there, whatever you like. You are. Okay. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen. Ose shalom bimrama, uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ose shalom bimrama, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la la la. It's time for our Misha Berach prayer. We send out to all those who could use it, of course, at home on Zoom. If people want to write names into the chat of people you're thinking about and sending your blessings of strength and health to, we invite you to do so. It's still cold season. Oh, wow. Flu, cold. It's like the quademic. I miss it. Flu, cold, RSV, bird flu. I think there's even one more. Whatever it is, it's bad. And so, in the least, make sure you got plenty of chicken soup, which I think we've again restocked. Roberta has been busy in her kitchen making chicken soup and bringing it in, and Jewish Family Services distributes it to those who could use it, which is awesome. And in the meantime, we can offer the prayers. If there are names that you want to lift up for prayers of Misha Berach, we ask you to say them out now. Any? For them, for all those who could use blessings of strength and health. Avotenu mekor habracha laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Did anyone notice I accidentally played that a half step too high? No? Okay. A little bit? Yeah, right. Come on. We're still offering prayers to bring home those left in captivity. And I don't think any of us know I don't know that anyone knows what's next as they either extend phase 1 or go to phase 2, whatever it is. The stories we're hearing are horrific, and we just want to see everyone home. We want to see everyone at peace. In the meantime, we send out our prayers to those in captivity. Achenu kol beit Yisrael, achiotenu kol beit Yisrael, hantunim b'tzara uvashvia, ha'omdim bein bayam uvein bayabasha, hamakom yirachem alehem v'yotziem mitzara lirvacha, ume'afela le'ora, umishibud ligula, hashta ba'agala, uvizman kariv. Our brothers and sisters, our family and friends, the whole house of Israel, all those in distress and captivity, wanderers over sea and land. May God have mercy on them and bring them safely from distress to comfort, from darkness to light, from slavery to redemption, from captivity to freedom. May all be free swiftly and soon, and we say, Amen. We also send our prayers to the region, to the land of Israel, to the people of Israel, to the protectors of Israel and all the protectors seeking peace. Avinu Shabbat, O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors before us bless all those who strive to protect the land of Israel and who live therein, from the north to the south, east to west. May God confound those bent on destruction and bring strength to the builders of peace. May all of our protectors return home safely, and may we soon reach the day that brings lasting peace for all Israel and all the world. And we say, Amen. So I learned recently that apparently our services don't count. It was news to me, and it came from a couple interesting sources. It seems that we have to have L'cha Dodi in the beginning of the service, and we have to have Adon Olam at the end. I did not know this. Spoiler, it's not actually correct. And I'm absolutely not shaming anyone. And I think this gives us an opportunity for some liturgical education. Liturgical, fancy word for prayer stuff. I have to use those fancy words because I spent a long time in grad school, and if I don't use fancy words sometimes, then I don't think I got my money's worth. Anyway, okay, so first year rabbinic school in Jerusalem, Rabbi Laura and I studied liturgy, the prayers, with Rabbi Ben Hollander, Zichrono Livracha, a conservative rabbi who also served as an assistant to Nechama Leibowitz, one of the great Torah scholars of the 20th century. For those who have done that kind of thing, she's like legendary, and we actually got an opportunity to study with her. That was amazing. But Rabbi Hollander was our liturgy professor. And whenever I think of Rabbi Hollander, I picture his Sidur, Rinat Yisrael, and the extensive notes he wrote in and around the printed text. On some pages, it appeared that there was more of his handwritten text than the printed text itself. And so I checked to confirm. I was doing a whole lot of checking this week after I learned that our services don't count, which they do. Anyway, so I did a whole lot of checking. Rinat Yisrael, the prayer book he used and that we used in that class, is technically an Orthodox publication. It's apparently popular within the Israeli religious Zionist community and some modern Orthodox congregations in the diaspora. That's all of us outside of Israel. And, as I said, we too use this Siddur for our studies. Okay, and another word of explanation. And this is a pet peeve I have. I hear it definitely outside of Reform and within. Reform is not defined as the easier form of Judaism or Judaism light. And really, I hear it both within Reform Judaism, I hear it outside. Reform Judaism is really about educated choice. Educated choice. And because of that, we as rabbis and the cantors of the movement, we don't see cantors much here. I can figure out how to do it. A few years ago, Cantor K. Greenwald joined us for High Holidays, and you can find them online, but small communities like ours, it's not as common to see cantors. Anyway, so we we were trained in traditional sources in Reform rabbinic school. We don't spend as much time on Talmud, for example, Jewish law, as our Orthodox counterparts, since we add a variety of other things in into our curriculum, which they don't typically spend as much time on, such as Jewish history and varieties of Jewish philosophy and theology. Subjects that really are not generally covered in Orthodox yeshivot, their institutions of learning, and certainly not in ultra-Orthodox yeshivot. One yeshiva, multiple yeshivot. That was our Hebrew word of the day. Okay. Anyway, our training includes those traditional sources, which would include Orthodox prayer books and the history of our prayers, which again, history would not necessarily be covered in the other forms. The prayer service has evolved over the centuries, and it continues to evolve. While there is flexibility in our liturgy, it may not be surprising that the prayer service has become, seemingly, set in stone. Also, the typical Orthodox practice allows for additional prayers to come into the service, but really doesn't like to take them away. So as you can imagine, the traditional Jewish prayer services have gotten longer and longer over the centuries. Their books are typically a whole lot thicker than ours. Torah is Torah. Open a Torah scroll or a bound Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, and the contents should be identical. How we chant it or read it vary from place to place, and the melodies we use to chant it will vary, but the text is the same. The Siddur, our prayer book, comes from different sources over time. And the two major distinctions are Ashkenazic, Eastern European, and Sephardic. So if you're looking to buy an Orthodox prayer book, you'll need to choose between those two, Ashkenazic or Sephardic, which technically means Spanish, though it's more complicated than that, and there are additional types and styles of Siddurim that we'll sometimes find. The two major styles are quite similar, but there are some differences in content, and there are definitely differences in melodies, but the melodies don't appear in the book. That's an interesting thing I've found. You know, for those of us who occasionally show up in churches, they've got a hymnal. Not only do they have the notes, but they have all the notes for 4-part harmony. I remember meeting some church people early on in my interfaith stuff, and they would hear us singing in harmony, and they're like astounded. Wait, how did you do that? Because the notes aren't there. It's a Jewish thing. I don't know. I don't remember what I answered, but I mean, it's just what we do. We don't write the notes down. Anyway, so Reform Judaism is much more comfortable with flexibility and experimentation. And I was just talking about this with a parent of one of our students who's getting ready to go off to Camp Newman for the first time. I have no idea which student that was, but could have been a couple of these. I don't know. Anyway, and the student was concerned that we would be praying all the time up at camp. There is a daily service, but it's definitely a time for experimentation. Sometimes it's pretty similar to what we do here. But other times it may be a half hour of meditation or a few prayers and then some discussion about what prayer means to us. It does give us opportunities for education in addition to the experimentation. Okay, so back to the education and the question of whether our service does or doesn't count, depending on whether we get in a L'chad Odi at the beginning and an Adon Olam at the end. L'chad Odi is a liturgical poem written by Rabbi Shlomo in Hebrew, Solomon Alkabetz in the 16th century. It's steeped in Kabbalah, in Jewish mysticism, picturing the Shabbat as a bride, the feminine personification of God, and the consort of the masculine aspect of God. If we were to sing all the verses, which we don't, Rabbi Alkabetz's name is signed acrostically in the text, with each verse beginning with a successive letter of his name. So we know he wrote it. We place it toward the beginning of the service as it welcomes Shabbat. It precedes the Baruch Hu, the official call to worship. And therefore, it is not part of the official service because everything before Baruch Hu is considered warm-up. I shouldn't be telling you this because now all those who walk in after we start might not feel guilty being late if they get here before Baruch Hu. Okay, it's technically true, but I really do like to start on time. Fresno Jewish Standard Time seems to run a bit late for me, but it is what it is. So all that stuff before Baruch Hu is a warm-up. From a Reform perspective, it's flexible, and I like to provide some variety. I often do L'cha Dodi. I don't always do it. Other side, Adon Olam is also a liturgical poem. I don't believe we are sure of its origin. I've done some research on that. It's not signed like L'cha Dodi. Some suggest it was written by Solomon ibn Gavriel in the 11th century. It could be later, but it's certainly been around for at least 500 years. While it is commonly found at the end of a service, one source I found said that in German tradition, so Ashkenazic, Sephardic, German tradition, specifically German, it's recited at the beginning of morning services. Okay, that's a change. The particular type of poetic meter it uses especially lends itself to fitting into a multitude of melodies. In addition to a variety of traditional melodies and modern Jewish melodies, I've heard it fit into melodies such as television themes for the Flintstones and Gilligan's Island, and I realize I'm completely dating myself. So if you go on YouTube now and type in like Adon Olam, you're going to find a whole bunch of, the one that I found that I liked was, and already it's old, the Cup song from Pitch Perfect, which is far older than that. That was the Carter family, Mother Maybelle Carter. Anyone? Wow. Okay, that's like 100 years old. Anyway, but so you can do it to tons of melodies. And honestly, I got kind of sick of Adon Olam and took it out of the regular rotation until one of our youth asked me to bring it back. One of the kids asked me to bring it back. That like threw me. I do like the Israeli version that I typically do, the one that more commonly speeds up. That version is attributed to Uzi Hitman and Oded Ben-Hur. Those are great Israeli names. And I found, as I was looking for it, a video on YouTube of them, the two of them performing it together, I believe in 1976. Hitman went on to significant involvement writing Jewish music, including for children and the Hasidic Music Festival. His partner in that, Oded Ben-Hur, eventually became Israel's ambassador to various places, including the Vatican, and then an advisor to the Knesset. How about that? It was actually an Israeli, perhaps from a more traditional Jewish background, who very confidently told someone in our community, you have to finish with Adon Olam. Okay, not in my rule book, and there isn't really a rule book. There are quite a few components of the service I consider obligatory. Probably a good subject for another talk. Adon Olam may be nice, but it's not one of them. And I know there are plenty of more traditionally leaning congregations that do include it at the end of every service. And as I've been researching, in some communities at the beginning of the morning service, or at home before coming to synagogue. There was one discussion, someone's community had just been, they brought in a new rabbi from Chabad, which was different from them, and he would end the service with the final reading they did and walk away with no song whatsoever. And the person was like, where's my Adon Olam? I need my Adon Olam. And this is like Reddit threads. And they're like, well, ask him if he'll do it. He might. And I never saw what the result was. So who knows? Do you have to do it? No, you don't have to. In some places, it seems as though the Hebrew expression we would use is misinai, from Sinai, handed down from Sinai. Oh my God, you have to do it every single time, and you have to do it with this melody every single time. No, you don't. We have traditions that are pretty solid. And we have things we do that are not traditional, not set in stone. There are prayers and readings we pretty much always do, and others that we rotate or bring in on a cycle, and some that we do on a much more limited basis. Some traditions are great for several years, then we get tired of them and they need to sit on the shelf for some time until someone, like an 11-year-old in our community, says, "Rabbi, can we do this one?" And I say, absolutely. Another one of our more ancient melodies, and I've been not exactly sure where it comes from. I think the roots of it, even if it's not actually this old, go back for centuries and centuries. I think from what I've heard, the basis of it actually predates Gregorian chanting, and when you hear it, listen for that kind of sound as we together rise and join in the Aleinu. Would you like to do the honors? Are you awake? Open door. Thank you. Wake up, wake up. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hako, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Ushemo echad. You may be seated for a moment. They've been tipped to my ideal, which is we want the closing to coincide with the closing of the melody. These are the little touches that I appreciate. At home, please, on Zoom, before adding names in for Kaddish that you may want to add, if someone could write Kaddish in order to distinguish between the healing names and the mourning names. I'll read the list that we have, and if people would like to add additional names, I'll invite you to do so. This week in our congregation, we mark the yahrzeits of Fanny Feldesman, Benjamin Kaplan, Dorothy Klein, Murray Lasher, Herman Levy, Judge Leonard Myers, Anna Bertha Michelson, Shai Milrod, Harold Mervis, Sadie Penn, Doralee Pevsner, Bernard Podolsky, Alfred Pollock, Anna Samuels, Daniel Schreiber, Charles A.C. Silverman, Frida Strauss, Albert Wasserman, Mo Wells. And we mourn the recent passing of retired naval officer Francis Edward Glazer, Sr., husband of Lynn, father of Fritz with Dee Dee, grandfather of Benjamin, Beck, and Peter. I do not have the names in front of me, but 4 more bodies were returned to Israel from Gaza. We think about them. We think about all those who have lost lives, as is our tradition. Oh, I want to make sure if there are other names in the congregation that people wanted to mention. And then, of course, the Reformed tradition is that we as a community stand together to recite Kaddish for all those who may have no one left to say Kaddish for them. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivorach, leolam umei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, b'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May all of their memories be for beautiful blessings. Amen. You may be seated. There's a lot going on, just a couple highlights from my end. Of course, tomorrow morning on Zoom, 9 a.m., we have our Torah study. And while we said to RSVP by today, through the weekend, we will take RSVPs for our Purim party. We're really going to have fun. There are alcoholic beverages, so this is a 21 and over event. There should be plenty to drink if you do not want alcohol. We're doing speakeasy, prohibition. So technically that's from 1920 to 1933. And, some of us will be period specific. Just a little teaser. Depending on the right circumstances, and there is fundraiser to this, so some of what I do may be dependent on some large donations. This instrument I'm not going to play tonight is actually from that era. This is 100 years old, and if the conditions are right, I might be induced to play it. We'll see. It might take a little alcohol, but it would definitely take a large contribution. Because, hey, it's all for the temple. All right. So I'm going to start with the... I'm going to start with a traditional melody, and then it might evolve into another melody. We'll see. Adon olam asher malach b'terem ko yitzir nivra leit nasa v'chefsa ko azai melech shemo nikra be'acharei kichlota ko levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra leit nasa v'chefsa kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifarak. Can you do that? Can you sing it with me? All right, let me hear it. Come on. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra leit nasa v'chefsa kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara. Shabbat shalom, everyone. We'll join in the social hall for motzi, oneg, schmoozing, and all that wonderful stuff. Thank you, gentlemen, for helping out. You fell on your knees? Dude.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.